Hi, my name is Coco with blackfilm.com, and I'm here with JB Smoove, and we're here to talk about the Audible original podcast, Funny My Way. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, good to talk to you today.
It's so great to talk to you.
Yes.
You were a kid from Leicester Towers in Mount Vernon.
Yes, indeed. Come on,
we gotta start with that. Shout that out, right?
Hey, we can't forget our humble beginnings, and we cannot.
Of course not. You know, whenever I talk to people from Mount Vernon, the first thing they say to me is 4 square miles, and I'm just like, exactly.
Wow. Come on now.
So tell me, I mean, just before we get into the podcast, which I really obviously want to talk about, how do we get from Mount Vernon to where you're at? Because you've accomplished so much, and you do so much.
You know what? It really is tackling one thing at a time. Mm-hmm. You know, I go on this philosophy of you put 20% into one thing at a time. Mm-hmm. That way, you know, and I'm big on planting seeds. And when I say planting seeds, I mean relationship building, networking, you know, don't burn bridges, don't step on toes, you know, go at your pace, because everybody has their own pace. When you change that pace, you know, you have a certain buildup in your body of how you, what your pace car is, you know, and sometimes we'll drive, okay, a pace car is the car that goes around the track in front of the cars to get the race started. Now, if that pace car start racing with everybody else, he's gonna look like, why is that pace car going 150 miles an hour? Like we go 150 miles per hour.
Right.
He's supposed to go like 55, 60, just to let the fans see everybody and get this race started. If that dude start racing, he's stepping on the toes of all the other NASCAR drivers. So I go at a certain pace that's built for me. You know, a lot of things I do, I'm not a guy that brags about things he does. I just do it.
Yeah.
You know, and if it influences people, if it motivates you, if anything, if it helps in your process of what you want to do, but don't match me. Don't copy what I do. Take it and make it your own. Because your pace might be better than my pace, might be faster. You may get it quicker or you may get it slower. But I feel like, you know, in your growth, in your process of how you move about your career, you know, there's a way of enjoying those moments as opposed to just constantly wanting to, you know, and I say this sometimes too, I say, man, I wish I could win without beating anybody.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, yeah. We want nobody to feel bad. Yeah,
I wish I could win, but not beat you.
Yeah.
I want you to win at the same time I win, but in your own way. So no one feels bad at the end of the race. You know what I mean? Like we're all in the game together, and the main thing as far as what we do as entertainers, stand-up comedians, TV actors, movie actors, is the main thing is that those people who are at home get a chance to all laugh at all of us, enjoy everything about us, you know, not putting us in ahead of each other, you know, and that's what happens a lot of times in this field. It happens in life too.
That's true.
You put above a pedestal of someone else, you know, and you feel slighted. Like, damn, I worked this is hard. Just because I didn't win doesn't mean what I do is not.
It's not as good.
It's not good, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I think with you, which is so interesting because, you know, for decades at this point, you've been able to do so much. I mean, I know that obviously we know you as a stand-up comedian, but then we also know you as a voiceover actor.
Right.
You do television, you do film. You are in so many places at once even. How are you able to still keep motivated? Like you still tour.
You know what? Because I take everything, that's what I'm saying. If I take one thing at a time, I can enjoy it. I can have fun with it. I can just make sure I give all my efforts and try to exhaust my brain into what this thing is. Because I also care about what you need as a producer, as a director, as a writer, because you're on your own journey also. So
that's a good point.
You know, I always say, you know, I did something one time and someone agreed to do it. Then they got there and they didn't do it. I mean, they didn't do it how I thought they would do it.
Yeah.
And I said, man, if you're going to say you're going to do something, I'm one of these guys. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it.
I'm going to give you more than you need. That way you got everything at your disposal that you need. I'm not going to give you less than what you need because that's not benefiting your project. So that's how, you know, I kind of see it. But I just constantly try to, but at the same time, you can't take everything.
Yeah.
So that's another benefit that I think I have. What do they say? The power of no.
The power, yeah.
The power of no is dope because the power of no allows, if you hire me for something and I say, I'm not going to be able to give you the time you need to do it. I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
I'm going to rush through it. You're going to want to be patient with it. I'm going to start rushing and you're not going to get out of me what you need.
The 100%.
So
yeah.
I'm sliding your project.
That takes a lot. A lot of people wouldn't be able to do that.
People can't say no.
Yeah, they can't say no.
Everybody wants, yes, I'm going to do it. I'll do it. And they overwhelm themselves.
Yes, that's true.
It damages their brand because it didn't be fulfilled in a way it should have been. Because
then you'll even be known for being inconsistent.
And that also is an argument about chasing money. There's so many different things in there, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And it just crosses all kinds of, it just gets complicated a little bit. Everybody want money, everybody want fame, but you want the right money and the right fame, and you want your brand has got to have longevity. It's got to go, it got to keep going. After this project, it got to keep going.
So this is going into Funny My Way. So obviously, you know, you talk about brand longevity, building these relationships.
Yeah.
I think that what's so interesting about this project is that with these comedians that you focus on in this project, they're clearly, these are the foundations. They are foundational talents. If you plan to make it in this business, if you don't know these names, you don't know these people, you know, you're never going to make it this far, let's say. So you can be funny to a point, but but what was the focus? How did you get here?
How I got here was I take off of these guys, these amazing comedians. You have to. If you don't learn something, whether it's good or whether it's bad, you have to learn and see it sometimes before you to understand your path. So for me, as far as comedy is ever evolving. It evolves based on what people want to hear, you know, what's too PC, the world has changed in the world of comedy.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah. These amazing people on this podcast, you know, Paul Mooney, Mom's Mabley, Dick Gregory, Red Foxx, Flip Wilson, you know, these are all amazing comedians. Now, in some sense, a lot of the landscape has changed so much, you know, as far as what is acceptable in comedy now.
Yes.
So you would have to literally stick by your guns and do what you do in order for you to, you know, people understand that this is just entertainment. Don't take it as this is not, we're not running for governor, we're not running for mayor, we're not running for president, we're not running for Senate. We are literally trying to take what's already there existing and putting a satirical or funny take on the world. And so it's not literal, you know, and I think all these amazing people on this podcast that we talk about all had those moments.
Yeah.
They all had to battle through something.
Yeah.
And you think about where we are now, but think about where these guys were in the heat of comedy in their careers.
Exactly.
Having to deal with unrest, civil rights, gender. They had to deal with everything you could think of, far and above what
color lines.
Color lines. Going on tour, not being able to be in certain theaters, not being able to stay in certain hotels, not being able to, they have way more hurdles in front of them. So when they call me about this podcast, you know, it's amazing tribute to these amazing comedians and understanding their story and understanding their path, I got it. I got it instantly because, you know, although things have been great for the comedian since I started doing it, it hasn't been perfect. You know, I got lucky because, you know, but I wouldn't trade my path for anything. I started in the BET, an inception of Comedy Central, an inception of BET, an inception of Def Comedy Jam. That right there alone lets you know how far we've come in comedy, how far we've come in comedy. So I can't even, you know, compare the two. You know, of course, we got Black Lives Matter. We got things going on in our era.
Yes, for sure.
You know, it could. I mean, you can play around with the scale. And rights and Black Lives Matter are kind of coincide a little bit, but to do what these guys did in that era, and each one of these amazing people are different.
Very different.
Not one is alike.
No.
You can't even compare any of these comedians, these legendary people with each other.
And they're all hilarious. And they made us laugh through pain. And it's interesting because when you listen to Dick Gregory or Paul Mooney, or Flip Wilson, they are so hilarious. Like, that is timeless comedy. Yeah, it's not dated at all. It's still very funny.
And different. Guys nowadays, you got guys out here doing arenas and stadium comedy. This is, you know, intimate, you know, in some ways, you know. Can any of these guys do arena? Maybe not.
Maybe, yeah.
But the intimacy of what they do, it's so specific and so amazing what they do. You know, back then they had these things called party albums. Party albums where people, they entertain. People come over the house, they put the album on, put the little video up there, smoke cigarettes, and laugh their ass off. They just laughing and having a good time in that living room, drinking, having a good time. They make a little cocktail for each other, and they talk, and they just laughing at these. They can play the same thing. You know how many times I've been in bed sleep, and I can hear the same Richard Pryor album playing again, and they played it over and over again because it was that good.
It was that good.
And it was that funny. And they can't wait when people come over, they can play that album again. And they holler and laughing. We sit there in the bed and laughing, but oh man, listen to those albums. And it just shows you how times have changed. You know?
Yeah.
You know,
but I have to ask you this though, JB, because times have changed, but you have always been consistently working. How difficult is it for you to with every year, just different conditions, things happening, how can you still consistently stay funny and keep the material fresh? And what even happens when people, sometimes you might find out somebody's even ripping your material, you know? What's that like in comedy? I know what it's like in the boardroom, like they stole my PowerPoint slide.
I think what I've been lucky is, you know, I think, you know, you work on this golf swing, right? Metaphor sometimes. But in golf, you're learning to hit this ball straight. Where you want it to go, you know how to hit that ball straight. In the beginning, it's very hard to figure out how to hit that ball straight. You know, then all of a sudden, you learn how to hit the ball straight. And you get to the point where it's automatic. You barely look. Put the ball down. You can be talking to somebody. You know, you grab your hold of that club a certain way. Put that ball down. You look at the ball. Yo, what?
It's just in you at that point. Yeah.
You don't even know where the ball. You just hit it. You know by how you hit it. If it was a good hit, you already turned around already. The ball ain't hit the ground yet. Put the club back in the damn bag, and you already ready to walk up. And that's what I think life is. And what whatever your art is, effortless at some point.
That's good.
Your brand is what you constantly are. You become a salesman. You selling something door to door. Back in the day, you sell something door to door.
Yeah.
You do that product so well, you can walk in and give them a demonstration of how this vacuum cleaner works. You have mastered your brand and your product to the point where your product can be moved around in different eras. Some people can be moved. Some people you can throw them back in time and they'll still work.
They'll still work, yeah.
But they talk about human nature, or they talk about their families. Families ain't changed. People still talk about their mama, their daddy, they're growing up. That ain't change. So whatever your thing is, I think you try to master it. And I think I've stayed busy because what I do, I can put anywhere.
Yeah.
Because you know what, I work on my cadence, you know, thus being able to do animation, voiceover work. I work on my salesmanship, thus being able to do commercials. I can help you sell your product because my cadence goes up and down, and I make the product seem like the best product in the damn world. Everybody wants it. You know what I mean? I think there's a way of your character and your personality to shine constantly, and you know, thus being able to do a wide range of things: TV, film, commercials, voiceover work, writing, and it is a blessing to be able to do all those things, but it's also takes work. You know,
absolutely.
I tell people all the time, you know, whatever your art is, and if you can sell it and people get it and you can make money off of it, don't let anybody put in your head that what you do and your success is the lottery. It's not. A lottery.
But you know what?
A lottery is putting money on a chance.
Right. The idea.
Doing it takes work. You got to get up in the morning. You got to work. You got to go early. You got to stay late for whatever it is. So don't.
Yeah, if you're not. No, that's great.
Yeah, don't think your opportunities are luck. That's why I use the word lottery, because people think it's luck. It's not. What you do is not luck. You have a talent. You worked hard for it. So you have to. Anybody out there listening, I always tell you, whatever your art is, keep doing your art until someone buys it. They're gonna buy that art that you do, and they're gonna get it.
Be consistent.
Be consistent in that golf swing to the point where you know your joint is hot. It's gonna sell, but you just gotta wait for it. And I think that's what a career. That's what when I talk about these guys here.
Yes,
they figured out what they do well and what people loved about them to the point where they are icons now.
Yeah.
Now, you know, doing this right here, they didn't hire anybody to do this voiceover. But I'm happy they asked me to do it because I felt like I have a connection to comedians because of what I do and because of, I know it's up and down. You know, the world keeps changing. It's such a fickle world we live in.
Yeah.
It keeps changing. So we got to always adjust ourselves to fit it. These guys they had to do that. They had to do that. They had life, they had death, they had success, they had failure. They had everything you can think of thrown at them. Yet, in our heads and on this podcast, they are legendary. At some point, they're going to pick out someone in the future. It's going to pick out 6 more amazing people to do another podcast. And it's going to be a list of people they'll be talking about, the Chris Rocks and the Chappelles. And, you know, there'll be people, the Bernie Macs, you know, they'll be talking about these people.
The JB Smooves.
Maybe JB Smoove, Kevin Hart. Everybody, some way, somehow, it's going to be another one of these. It might be 30 years from now, who knows? But there is something to the comedian that's different from music. Goes on and on. You hear a melody, you know that melody. There's songs right now that I listened to when I was a kid that my mom would play on Sunday morning while she's cleaning up. And I still know every word because I kept hearing it. With comedy, we have to keep adjusting.
Yes.
Whatever the climate is, whatever's going on in the world, we got to keep adjusting. Thus, we are the version of the news that you might need to hear other than the straightness.
That is exactly what I was thinking. Yes.
People can't watch the news no more because it's so crazy. You're like, man, I can't watch this.
Yeah, it's almost like when people say you laugh to keep from crying. And a lot of times, comedians, you make the truth a little bit more palatable. Like these are the circumstances, but you know, let me just sit down with my drink and just laugh, you know.
Let me just laugh at this, you know. Yeah. You know, he right. It's something to it. It's something to that. You're still getting the news you need but you're getting a take on it that makes it more, it humanizes it. It makes it feel like, okay, yeah, that's crazy how that happened. But his take on it is interesting. Because
there's something you said.
You go nuts. You go nuts. If you don't get the right, somebody don't tell it to you the right way, you go crazy.
Yeah.
You think everything's going bad. So
there's something you said, JB, that I think is so relatable and just so important. And you were saying basically like you have to be persistent and consistent and keep moving and just keep on going.
Yeah.
And when you have those naysayers and those doubters in your ear, you know, I was thinking more so like when people doubt you, it's because it's almost like projection. It's something that they don't see in themselves. They themselves don't feel like they would be able to go on or move on if they were you. Yeah. Well, they're not you. And like you said, if you know that you are really good at something that you do, they're not you. Don't worry about what they would or wouldn't do. Like, I'm going to do me and I'm going to keep moving. So just hearing you say it in that way just told me like, it don't matter what I want to do tomorrow. I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it. Yeah, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, but you know, you're just listening to them just for reference.
Right.
Just for reference.
Right.
You know, just for reference. Don't listen to it. Don't literally listen to it. It's just a reference.
Yeah, I'm not here to argue with nobody. Like,
oh,
yeah.
I just need to know where you at. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just for reference. Just follow the way. And that side of the brain that we don't use that much.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have to thank you, JB. This has been really like a life lesson. Sometimes you talk to people, you know, and you don't realize that you're about to get some gospel. You know, this is a little bit of a little Sunday sermon in a sense.
Yeah, man.
With a little twist.
Well,
you know, but people don't even realize, like you said, with the, you know, politically or just, you know, socially, whatever the environment, comedians are always going to be the ones that keep you grounded and let you know what's really going on. So
what's really going on in the world.
Yes, I'm so glad I got to talk to you for sure. Yeah. And again, once again, my name is Koku with blackfilm.com, and I'm here with JB Smoove, the legend. You know, he's gonna get his own. You know, he's voicing this one over, but the next one's coming. And we're here to talk about the Audible original podcast, Funny My Way. I've already heard some excerpts, and it's really funny. And you guys, if you don't know about these legends that he's talking about, they are just super funny still. So thank you so much for your time, JB. It's been an honor to speak to you, brother.
I appreciate it. We'll do it again. We'll do it again soon.
Definitely. Thank you very much. If you want to see more content like this on blackfilm.com, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell.